Good morning, my sir. from there! Now! By the prophet's ass, 1 second later and I would have been scraping your remains off the floor. What in blazes are you doing here anyway? Let's put it this way. I know how to hide when I don't want to be seen. And concerning the explosion, you stepped right into a Kiranian dust crystal. Get a little too close and wait a little too long, and you'll have your ass blown around your ears by an explosion that would put any cannon to shame. Lashiri? Oh my. The fellow really isn't one for names, is he? I'm Lashari, but never mind that. At least it proves you're not lying. Anyhow, I hope you're not the backup I asked for. I was hoping for someone more, impressive. No offense. Is that so? Indeed. You have some uncontrolled magic inside you. And quite a lot of uncontrolled magic. Not bad. I've never felt anything like this before. Very well. If Constantine insists, I will perform the ritual on you. But it'll have to wait, since I'm up to my neck in this shit, as you've probably noticed. Short version or long version? Which do you prefer? Fine. I suppose you already know that that is me, my assistant, 2 Arcanists, and 4 Keepers, are here to do research on, well, on something, which is exactly what we've done these past weeks. But, as I went upstairs to get something a couple hours ago, I suddenly heard screaming and the clanging of metal coming from downstairs. As I looked for cover, I saw these 2 shapes in red robes vanishing into the lower parts of the ruin. I have no idea who they are or why they're here, but to me, they look like mercenaries. Anyway, fact is, my esteemed Enderalian colleagues and my assistant are still down there, together with our research, and I want them back. And before you ask, yes, you can help me. You'll have to, actually, if you want me to tame your magic. I wouldn't have a chance fighting the mercenaries by myself, but the 2 of us might be able to do it, provided you can defend yourself, which I'm quite sure you can. What do you say? Are you ready? Oh, that's hard to explain. But part of it is finding the answer to the universal question. Why do some people have the nerve to ask irrelevant questions when shit is going down around them? After we've cleaned up the mess, we can do this whole, who are you and what are you doing here thing if you want to. But this really isn't the time. No idea. But I don't think there are more than a dozen. Also, they don't anticipate any resistance, which is to our advantage. Fine, then follow me. And keep your weapons ready. I think I just heard footsteps down there.
Shit, you were right. Get there.
Just
No. No. Oh, shit.
Stabbed like a pig. Hang on. What's this? By the prophet's ass. I don't believe it. They're orders. My assistant, Sev. It seems he's the reason these fuckers managed to take us by surprise. Save it for Sev when I shove this staff up his ass and fire a thunderbolt. Shit, can you smell that? That's fire. So, these guys really are trying to destroy our research. We have to do something. You're adept at magic, right? Take this spell and use it to put out the fires. If I'm right, the mercenaries are trying to destroy the stone fragments, and we have to stop them. You take the lower part of the ruin. Try to save as many stones as you can. I'll take the upper part, and when it's all done, we'll meet here again. Oh, and one more thing. If you should find my assistant Sev down there, try to take him alive and bring him to me. I want to take care of him myself, okay? Then let's get going.
What are you waiting for? Help me, damn it! Put out the fire! Damn, that was close. Those bastards just left me down here to die. Can you believe it? Despite everything I did. Oh, forgive me.
Well, I'll be damned. That's what I call good timing. I take it you were successful? What about the fragments? Did you save them? Well, I guess that'll have to do. Thanks. What about Sev? Did you find him? Fuck. That little shit. I was hoping I could make him tell us who's behind all this. Well, whatever. No use crying over spilt milk, I guess. What's your name, anyway? Amidst all this, we didn't have time for formalities. You're pleased? Well, that's good to hear. I actually had the feeling that I was a little rough on you. Sorry for that, really. Sometimes I just have a short fuse. Anyway, let's talk about the reason you're here. For starters, tell me how you managed to get the old ranter to trust you. That doesn't happen very often. I've got time. So, you're saying that you learned all this, the magic, the swordplay, in such a short time? That's fascinating, to say the least. And these visions, if I understand correctly, you foresaw the death of the two apothecary? It does indeed. But hey, who am I to judge? Here you are, the mysterious stranger who appeared out of thin air and, without much fuss, took out an entire group of sellswords. And even better, now you tell me that these skills come from studying magic for only a couple of weeks, and that you can see the future. You certainly are full of shit. Not you, sorry. I mean, I just had a strange thought. But no, that would be crazy. Way too unlikely. Well, I'd like to speak freely, but I'm bound to my agreement with the Holy Order. However, I will tell Constantine and old Aranthiel about my theory. And you will probably have to be patient until the latter decides to put you in the picture. Sorry. But if my idea is correct, then we'll be in a position to really kick ass. Anyway, hold still for a moment. Ready? All right, let's do this. Don't worry, it'll just tickle a bit. Fuck! Are you all right? That wasn't on purpose. Really. Oh my, you really do look terrible. I will make this right, I promise. I have no idea what just happened. The ritual isn't exactly harmless, but normally you shouldn't feel more than a weak tickle at most, regardless of how it goes down. But, maybe this has something to do with the strangeness of your aura. I already said this, but it's so different. It's hard to explain. Somehow complex and cold, maybe. But hey, I'm probably just out of practice. It worked, and that's what matters. Your fever will now settle down to an endurable level, and maybe even vanish if you're careful. And now, I suggest you return to Constantine. I will get the stones to safety in the meantime. You need anything else? If not, see you later. We're going to meet again. I can feel it. Well, put simply, they're supposed to protect us, but old Aranthiel will tell you more about it later. Take care.
Him
It just
of the
doesn't work,
Desert King.
Master. No matter how hard I
Obvious, Meister, please. Lord will redeem you for your kindness.
Thousand raindrops.
Oh, thank you. You truly are a good person.
Yes?
May your path always be even.
She held a few days before that thing with Magister Yarrow happened.
Yes, exactly. Do you also remember how she described the workings of magic? The secret of it, if you will.
Please, I'm so hungry.
Wait. She said the key to magic.
Malthus blessing. Lovely day, isn't it? Always complaining. If this is really such a bad place, why don't they just take a trip to Thalgard and try to settle there?
We don't conjure the fireball. The scorching air, the smoke.
Some people just don't know their place in the world. What?
Work. Life isn't easy.
Well met.
My Sir Gunjar, I didn't think I'd see you back on the streets so early. How's your injury?
It's healing.
Is it? Well, that's good to hear. Listen, what happened at the marketplace is horrible. I just want you to know that my family and I include you in our prayers.
Thanks.
All right then. I think I better get going now. Walk blessed.
Puke! Oh, whoa! Oh, whoa! My heart is aflame!
And it is over. Yes? What are you doing here? Midnight.
I think I've seen you before, haven't I? You work for the Order. Do you know who those wild mages up in the temple are? I mean, sure, if the Grand Master trusts them, who am I to doubt his decision?
Always forward!
Still.
Forward for the glory
No.
and honor! The spears of the red are driving the swords into the bodies.
Huh? What do you want?
Yes.
Thou art my light, my glimmer at the horizon. Thy name is my sacrament, and thy path my beloved.
This is holy ground, Outlander. You don't belong here.
Yes.
What quest?
Monsieur?
On rocks I stood amidst the sea. Before me nymphs of ancient times.
Monsieur? News? Where have you been these past moons? The whole city's talking about nothing else but the Mad Magister. 30 dead novices. Oh, boy. How could something like this happen? Within the Order?
Yes? Yes?
What?
Walk blessed, my friend. You look disheartened. I have just the right thing for you. A visit to our gallery. Dozens of beautiful paintings by different artists, each of them a treat for the eye. Come now, for tomorrow you may not have a chance. No? I thought so. Then have an... Oh, really? What makes you say that? It's not like our country is ruled by a group of antiquated conservative clerics who care as little about art as they care for the latest trend in Chilean fashion. But no, you're right. It is unusual. But even a narrow-minded country like Enderal has artists. And those artists need a place to show their work. Which is just what we do. Well, probably because I'm not. My husband thinks running around the city and talking to every peasant who crosses my path will help us get our gallery running again. But that's just idiotic. That's one way to put it. Truth be told, if the Golden Sickle doesn't decide to leave a barrel full of coin on our doorstep tomorrow, we won't be able to pay rent much longer. Especially now that my esteemed mother has decided to play hermit. Wow. Listen to me. A month ago, I would have been too proud to admit this. Now I shouted at a complete stranger. She's a painter. Our best-selling painter, to be precise. Some people even came from other countries to see her portraits. At least before the war. It's hard to describe. She's portrayed half of Ark's nobility by now. At least that's what it feels like. And she does it. The paintings are just so... intense. I don't know how else to put it. That's why people are willing to pay a fortune for them. It's crazy if you think about it. Well, what I said. For months, she's not reacted to our letter, nor sent one herself. And what's worse, she hasn't sent us any new paintings. Which is one of the reasons why this place isn't going so well. And in case you wonder why we just don't visit her, my mother was always a little... special. And where she resides reflects that. The Dark Valley. You'd do that. That's... quite the offer, to be honest. A word of warning in advance. I cannot pay you. That is, unless you're interested in a painting from Prince Myth. But I warn you, they're as bad as his poems. A little detour in a place swarming with undead eager for your blood. Right. I hope you know what you're doing. I really do. But still, I guess I'm too selfish to decline your offer. It's worth a try. My mother and I, we don't exactly have a good relationship. But still, I need to know she's all right. You said you travel a lot, so you have a map with you, right? Show me. So there you go. That's where her hut should be, at least approximately. Good luck, and thanks.
Tastes like cherries. Lo, how that bosom's make me languish. Yes? What are you doing here? Hearts in anguish. Whoa! Whoa! Away! Away! Away you go!
And Orbius, my son, please. What will you do with your kindness?
Listen to me.
What? Yes. Yes, that just might work.
Now, if it isn't the prodigy, well... Oh, do you really need me to answer that? Just take a look around. There are all sorts of great historical writings on us here. We're a bunch of bloodthirsty heretics who followed Tenor Aranthiel's deluded son into the war against the gods, who gloriously defeated us in the Battle of Zaramar. Naratzul was locked into an old tower, and those of us who remained cowardly fled into the Neremes Mountains, and have since then terrorized and plotted against the poor people of the civilized world by all means necessary. Oh, and did I forget to mention that we eat babies for breakfast? Well, now I have. Sorry. I suppose I just shouldn't have read that much Enderalian literature on the subject. If there's someone who deserves an award for biased misrepresentation of the facts, it's the buffoons who run this place. Oh, don't tell Lucy that. Altogether it's her, Yuslan, me, and 2 acolytes. Yuslan is probably the most gifted entropist of the civilized world, and I doubt there's anyone who knows more about the Pyreans than Lucy. Oh, that's hard to tell. Most of the time I was with Narathzul's order in the Kabet Mountains. But when I was younger, I used to travel a lot, not only in Nerim. What about you? Which idiots did you have the misfortune to be raised by? the foolhardy rebels up north, the bootlicking pawns of the Chancellor in the Middle Realm, or the fanatic, mask-wearing cultist oafs down south? Ostian, I see. A beautiful piece of earth, actually. But these sodding cultists and their creator have done their best to make it a living nightmare. Truth be told, it was them who made me join Narathzul's fight against religion back in the days. I was a young traveling arcanist then, and wanted to make some money in Ostian's arena. Fight some rabid animals, oh, you know the story. I had heard a lot about Nerim's South, and imagined a place at the pulse of life. Exotic music, adventure, beautiful women. But you know who greeted me when I reached the city gates? Corpses. They burnt their skin off, and then nailed them to crosses. There were at least 50 of them. Men, women, children. And they were set up at the roadside like trees in an alley. It was atrocious. The smell of burnt meat everywhere. The screams of those who still lived, and all of it only because some fool has decided that they had somehow acted against their god. I still dream of it sometimes. Well, that was when I declared war on religion. I was so sick of seeing people cutting each other's throats only because they project their own personal problems into some holy scripture or higher power. And that's not even the worst part. They're beyond reason. Why are you doing this, I ask them. Because my god told me to. What's left to say there? You can essentially justify anything with that logic. This is why this place makes me sick. We need the Order's manpower. They need our knowledge about the Piraeans, and we both do want the same thing, yes. But philosophy and freedom of thought are nowhere to be found. It's pathetic. Yes and no. On the one hand, yes, a happy person will most likely never become a murderer, no matter if he or she follows the teachings of this creator or some Quiranian philosopher. But if something happens to this person, hunger, fear, shattered dreams, a peaceful ideology can make all the difference. What is religion, after all? It's a guide to live life, a set of values. And even if it's just one line in the Holy Scripture that says, "Kill the infidels," how likely is it that a broken man will interpret it in a peaceful way? If you want a justification to spill blood, you will find it. If your religion was ambivalent to begin with, even better. There's a lot of discussion about that on Kira. And it drives me mad to hear people prattling on about how it's all a matter of interpreting the scripture in different ways. Blazes, if your ideology is so peaceful, why does it say, "slayeth this, slayeth that," rather than just, "get along"? It's pathetic. Yes, go on. Try to justify a massacre like the one in Ostian with a philosophy that consists of only 2 principles and nothing more. Respect those around you, and killing is bad regardless of the motives. Good luck. Especially if people don't keep to themselves with it. Yes, I know. She's already told me everything. Good work, even though part of her report seemed to be a bit enthusiastic. But I'll leave the judgment to Aranthiel. He wants to talk to you anyway. Seems you've caught his interest. Didn't I tell you that already? He's the highly esteemed, holy Grand Master of the Order. Tilor Aranthial, son of Lorius the First, praised be his name. An old legend, risen from the dead, or something like that. In the Emporium, the last building on the left side of the temple. Just tell the guard that Aranthial has asked for you, and they will let you in. Ah yes, before I forget. My dame Lucy has left a token of gratitude for you. It's your choice. Do you want a book, an old map, or a bag of pennies? Very well. Now get a move on. I'm sure we'll talk again later.
This is holy ground, Outlander. You don't belong here. Huh?
Huh? What do you want?
Well met. Need something?
It is a suspicion, Tila. And to send an entire division across the sea because of a suspicion is madness.
We need to find out who sent the mercenaries. This Pegast said that they were after the Signet Stone, and if they succeed in getting hold of it next time, then the Black Guardian alone knows how to stop the cycle.
The cycle. Listening to you talk almost makes me forget that all this fuss here is merely based on some bad dreams you and your Neremese friends had.
The threat is real. Deny it as much as you like, but deep inside, you feel it as much as I do.
Tila, you're a commander, and a commander doesn't care about feelings, but about facts. You have made this mistake before, Tilor, back then in Kira, and we all know...
The mission will happen. I'm sorry.
You have a visitor.
So, you are the prodigy everyone is talking about. Interesting. I am Tilor Aranthial, son of Lorius the First and Grandmaster of the Order, and I'm honored to meet you. What is your name? Yes, and I will come straight to the point. You are here because I believe that you are special. Humanity faces a threat that needs to be stopped, and to achieve this, you are indispensable. Among other things, yes. I do not need to explain to you that the present situation on Veen is chaotic. the wars, the living dead, common people who are losing their minds, to name only the most obvious. What most people are not aware of is the connection between these events. You, however, have encountered it, as have I. I do. And I will explain everything to you. What it means, who we are, and what your part in all of this is. Come, follow me. Maybe you already know who I am. My entire life, I served the gods who ruled Vin, until their death 2 years ago. What you probably do not know is that the one responsible for their death is my son, Narazul Aranthial. He hated the Lightborn because he believed that they robbed mankind of their right to freedom, so he strived to overthrow them. He found followers, formed an army and declared war on them, and thus on me, a servant of the Lightborn as well. It all ended in a battle 30 years ago, which Narazul won. He killed every single survivor except for me, and locked me in a dungeon on Nerim. I still do not know why he spared me. Good question. Because at the moment stability is the highest good, even more so considering what we are facing. The rulers of Kira and Kile both made the mistake to acknowledge the death of the gods to their people, and the civil wars that followed in their countries are evidence of the chaos that such a revelation entails. Enderal is the cradle of the Order of the Gods, the epitome of theocracy. It is unthinkable what would happen if we confirmed these rumors. I am sure you understand this. Maybe when all this is over that will change, but for now it is imperative that we deny all rumors of that kind. There were circumstances favoring the development, but it's a long story which we won't discuss now. Yes, after more than 30 years, when the death of the gods made the magic around the prison disappear. And during my escape in the northern mountains of Nerim, I also had them for the first time, the dreams. I always saw the same glaring, terrible light. Heard screaming, and I felt like I was burning up from the inside. And above all, like a veil, there was the knowledge of imminence. At first, of course, I dismissed these dreams as the delusion of a man close to death. So I concentrated on making it through the mountains somehow. 2 days after my escape, I was completely exhausted, and I would have died if a former acolyte of my son had not found me. Yes, but he did not recognize me, and brought me to their headquarters instead, an old monastery in the mountains. The others were aware of my identity, but for whatever reason they did not kill me. Maybe because they thought that the death of the Lightborn had made me insignificant. I do not know. Still, even after my recovery, the dreams continued. At first I doubted my sanity, but after some time I told the leader of the mages, Constantine, about them. And he said something that I'd never expected. I was not alone. He, as well as many others magically gifted on Vin, dreamed the same dreams. And the more we talked about the matter, the stronger our suspicion grew, which has now turned out to be the truth. The dreams, they come from the same place. They are a shared memory. A collective subconscious, yes. I know that you can feel it too, and probably far more intense than we do. But like you back then, we were not able to make sense of the images. So we went looking for answers in the remains of the civilization that was before us, the Pyreans. Three things. First, there were many civilizations before us and before the Pyrrhians. Maybe hundreds, maybe thousands. Second, the history of each civilization unfolded and still unfolds according to a pattern. They emerge, they blossom, and at some point, at the apex of their existence, they simply disappear without any trace. And third, everything that has happened in the past years, and which is still happening, indicates that this disappearance lies ahead of us. We are part of an eternal loop, a cycle, and our cycle is approaching its end. Not identical, but one can split them up into episodes which repeat themselves in the very same manner, into patterns. Yes, dramatically put, they're the envoys of the end. Yes, it does. At first we considered it absurd, as probably you do at this moment. But there came a moment when we simply could not deny it anymore. We began to study the history of the Pyrrhians more intensely, and the parallels were extraordinary. In its early days, the Pyrrhian Empire was split up by a disaster, just like Vin was split up by the Starfall after the reign of the Eterna. Also, the Pyrrhians had a ruling caste who declared themselves gods after the catastrophe. The two castes of the Sun Priest. They, too, ruled until they were overthrown. This overthrowing was followed by an outbreak of wars and chaos. And then, just like that, the Pyrrhians ceased to exist. They knew it was imminent, but they could not prevent it. They called this event the Cleansing. They tried, but they failed. Who knows why? Maybe they found out too late, or maybe they were too weak. That is the question we need to find an answer to. The end was not violent, at least not in a sense as we know it. There was no natural disaster, no magical explosion, no plague. Even though there was war in the Pyrrhian Empire before its ruin, when the cleansing happened, it was as if all living beings simply fell down and died. It is ghastly. Well, this is the reason why we need your help. Not only episodes of history recur within every cycle, characters do as well. Yes, the Pyrrhians call them the emissaries. They emerge very shortly before the cleansing occurs, like a law of nature, an answer to the Red Madness. And I am one of them, as are you. While I take on the role of the ruler, you take on the role of the prophet. It's just a description. Call it what you will. But without doubt, it is the truth. Your story matches the descriptions perfectly. Yes. Former enemies or not, both sides have understood the magnitude of the threat. The magical knowledge of Narazul's former mages is vast, as is the power of the Holy Order. Even though not all of the Keepers agree, as you probably have already noted yourself. I do not know. Firespark the Mage has told me your story. And even though your fate is tragic, unlike me, you were insignificant before your change. So maybe everyone can become an emissary, We simply have not understood the pattern yet. No, as I already said, the emissaries simply appear at the beginning of the end, like pieces on a chessboard. We are determined by our skills. How and to what end we use them is our choice. On the one hand, your power. You carry the potential to master any skill within a fraction of the usual time needed. I assume you have already realized this. On the other hand, your ability to look into the past, and therefore into the future. Your visions are a window into the past, and as every cycle is based on the same events, it is a window into the future as well. You can feel the thread this world is woven with, and because of that, you can see things that have happened, and thus will happen again. This gift makes you indispensable to us, and it is why I want your help. That is the wrong question. The correct question is, what alternative do we have? To wait and die? Hollow words. Deep inside, you know your responsibility. Trust me, we are more alike than you believe. Good. However, there's one more thing before the actual work begins. I want you to join our order, and to do so, you have to pass a test, a trial. It is. Whatever you think about our story, we are the only faction that is strong enough to oppose the cycle. If you want to be part of our mission, you need to have access to our knowledge and resources. There will be voices in the Order speaking against your admission, as they are speaking against the presence of the Naramese mages. Consider it an honor or a necessity. It is up to you. It is the trial the novices have to pass in order to be exalted to the role of a keeper. Only the best students of the Squalor are allowed admission, and even though you have not been a novice, I want you to take it too. At this very moment, 2 novices are on their way to the testing grounds. I have informed them about your arrival. I have only a slight acquaintance with them. However, I know that they are both very talented and have been working hard toward the test. But see them for yourself. I had a hunch. Let us leave it at that. At the border to the Heartland, near the Whisper Wood, they will be waiting for you there. Take the Myret, talk to Signet Master Bartar, and hand him this package. And then follow his orders. Oh, one more thing. It might be self-evident, but keep your knowledge about the death of the Lightborn to yourself. I do not believe you can do any real harm, but in the worst case, path-abiding people will consider you a heretic. After the cycle has been stopped, we will deliberate upon how we deal with the matter, if and how we tell our people about it. But not now, that is for sure. Now, leave. The sooner we can dispense with this formality, the better.
Yes?
If only that man knew a thing or two about reliability. Yes? Why, of course. Tomorrow you can move into the guild's house and Mal DeLorean will come to wash your feet. I like you, you know that? You're still so green and honest. That's a rare sight in this trade. If you're after the badge, yes. But you don't seem like the merchant type to me. Well, that's not a problem, however. With the right attitude, we'll guard the holy dealings of the sickle, of course. Only a fool. But let's not get carried away, shall we? If you're really... Now, if it isn't the hero of the Farmer's Coast. Well, your story about Hafner turned out to be true. He really did poison Urias's cows. The stable boys saw him do it, but was too afraid to report it. So, in case you really do care, Hafner will be on trial next month. And I doubt his sentence will be mild. Anyway, concerning your question, yes, there is more to do. Uncomplicated work, good pay. Interested? Well, it's simple. At the moment, there's a caravan on its way to Ark, carrying Duneville fruit and peaceweed. I need you to deliver a message to the caravan's leader, Rhodos. Then report back to me. That's it. That Skerrig men wear no underclothes when they venture into battle. I want you to deliver the message, not ponder on its contents. Understood? Well, that's up to you to find out. They should be on the Penny Road by now. Just a couple of days' ride from Ark. Just follow the road. You'll find them eventually. Good luck.
Monsieur?
I really need that new herbal essence.
Greetings.
Wait, you're a traveler, aren't you? Did you happen to see my husband, Hallis? Tall, brown hair, chin beard. He runs our farm near landlord Borek's place and has been gone for days.
Walk blessed.
Walk blessed.
Is it important?
Monsieur.
Hey, wait a moment. You're the Naramis, aren't you? The Outlander. Well, let's put it this way. I have a pair of eyes here and there, and it's always good to know who comes into this city and when they do so. Help. You're an unfamiliar face, and this is just what I need. Let me make it short. I'm a businessman, and my specialties are the liquid pleasures. Beer, to call a child by its name. In Ark, most inns only pour 2 drinks. On the one hand, my beer. On the other hand, Rivervale Ale. Dalsarker honey wine is what they like to call that swill. Now, the thing is, the Riverville Brewery and I have a deal going. And unfortunately, the new vine dresser respects that deal as much as the Rolata respect the righteous path. Now this is why I want your help. I need someone to aid me in serving some retributive justice, so to speak. Now look at that. Aren't you curious? That's good. I like that. It's simple. 7 barrels of beer per tavern and per week from me. 7 barrels of wine from him. No tricks. Correct. That way, we maintain balance. Should an inn order more than these 7 barrels, either I or the vinery inform each other about it first. The fact is, that new vine dresser doesn't care about that deal at all. All he does is walk around saying things like how he'll grow the business, how rivalry adds spice, and other Kalian horse shit like that. And unfortunately, some people seem to fall for him. One innkeeper hasn't ordered from me for 3 weeks, and now pours only ale instead. A lot. Depending on how good you do, we can even talk about letting you in as a shareholder of my brewery. With small parts, of course. But as I said, that depends on how you do. Wonderful! Here, this is a flask of highly concentrated vinegar. Sneak into the basement of Fat Leorin's Inn. That's one of the inns that fools talked into only buying ale. And pour that into the big mead barrel. And, I probably don't need to say this, but still, not a word to anyone. Get back to me once it's all taken care of, and we'll talk coin. Some shifts never end.
Yes?
Ahoy!
Monsieur?
Ça va courir, Alex!
Brass.
Savakurin Alex!
Rash. Devra! Than!
Hmm?
Yes? I beg your pardon? Wait. Again, from the beginning. By the righteous path. That I mean, the Guildmaster must learn of this at once. And, wait, what did you say these assassins look like? Huh. Was their armor all black? And did they speak a language that sounded like gibberish to you? Petrified. By Malthus. Well, this is worse than I expected. The hired killers. The best of their kind. Have you never heard of them? Well, apparently their temple, as they call it, or their headquarters, is on a small island called Milea. A deserted city. But now is not the time for history lessons. Whoever has enough money to hire the petrified is dangerous. Very dangerous. I don't like your tone. But if your life depends on it, no, it wasn't. And yes, I was afraid something might happen, but nothing like this. The entire caravan murdered. By the Seven, this is bad. As I said, Guildmaster Delora needs to learn about this. Did you find anything on the corpses? Documents, perhaps? Rhodos's amulet. Oh, by Malphus. Doloran will not like this. Give it to me. The Guildmaster will want to have it. Give me back that letter. We have to make sure it doesn't fall into the wrong hands. Thanks. Here, take this. It's a paycheck, and you can hand it in at the bank. Now, excuse me. I have to make some arrangements. Oh, by the seven, this is not going to be pleasant.
Move along.